Hey everybody, welcome back to the K2N Online Paddle School. We are back here on YouTube, and this week we're taking a look at how to be more explosive throughout your paddle stroke. In previous videos, we have defined what is power. It is an equation of strength times speed. Many paddlers focus on the strength part, but they don't incorporate the speed that is necessary to be more explosive throughout your paddle stroke. All dynamic motion shares this commonality with explosiveness, with this speed through the motion. When somebody swings a baseball bat to hit the ball out of the park, when somebody swings a golf club to drive the ball as far as they can, when you serve a tennis ball as hard as you can, all of these things share a common level of explosiveness. You don't grip the racket as hard as you can and move very slowly, flexing all of your muscles. There's no explosiveness there. That commonality is the speed of going through those motions. This explosiveness is what we're looking for within our paddle stroke. So there are things that we can do off water to kind of hone our nervous system and our objectives with our movement, as well as an excellent drill for on water that is also my favorite drill to do on the water. So if you're lifting weights off water, we have some common exercises that you can do that help you learn rotation. These are excellent exercises to use. Using these ideas, it gives you a little bit more purpose with how you're going through your motion. We've talked about in that previous video that you don't want to segment your muscles and isolate them. We're trying to learn to use the whole body concisely to perform function, right? I want to use my legs, my hips, my shoulders, and my arm in order to go through these pulling motions, as opposed to learning to only do it with my arms. Being a good paddler, being good at dynamic motion is not the same as being a good bodybuilder. We don't have to isolate muscles, right? We want to try and learn all of these motions together. The ability to throw a powerful knockout punch is not how you look aesthetically, it's how you use your whole body in a very concise way. So incorporating this explosiveness into our training, there is a form of exercises called plyometrics, which are very explosive in nature. They are designed to make you go through these motions with a level of speed. If you don't have the speed, you can't perform the exercises properly. And we can take this same ideology and put it into any type of motion. And the easy way to define this is when you start an exercise, you have a point A and a point B, a starting position and an ending position. And your body should move around as you go from point A to point B. The faster that you can get from this point A to point B, the more explosiveness that you begin to incorporate in. So if I'm pulling 100 pounds, my level of explosiveness is greatly diminished because I can't physically go from point A to point B as fast. If I reduce the weight to 50 pounds, I may be able to go through these range of motions in a much more explosive and dynamic way. Now, if the weight is only 5 pounds and I go through it without feeling any motion and not being in control of it, this is now not enough strength and too much speed. And so we're looking for somewhere in the middle. Lowering the weight range so you can go through it in a more explosive way trains your body to be more powerful. Having too much weight that slows you down, this presents a major problem. And this is the same exact conundrum that a paddle blade size presents. If you choose a weight or a paddle blade that is too large, it will naturally slow you down and you can't incorporate the speed that you need for higher power. If you were to paddle with a paddle with no blade on there and only had a paddle shaft going through the water, there's not enough strength in the equation, but there is now too much speed and you don't get the power output. There is some balance that we're looking for. For most users in the gym, as well as on the water, going down a blade size, going down a dumbbell weight range can be the difference in incorporating in more of this explosiveness. So when you do the exercises point A to point B, you want to do in a very concise and quick explosive way. But now as you go back from point B to point A, it is good to control this range of motion as we go back and forth, right? So you can see this tempo changes. It is very common when people go through these range of motions to go fast both ways or to go incredibly slow in both directions, right? There is a very specific pattern that we're looking for. Fast when we are under load, controlled when we are not under that same load. So again, any exercise that you can think of, any exercise that you are doing currently to make you a better paddler, these are all ones where you can change that tempo of how you're going through it, adjust the weight, and make you more explosive of an athlete. So that's the off-water tip. The on-water tip, very similar, except we get to do this with an actual paddle stroke. My favorite drill is the slow stroke fast boat drill. And so when I say slow stroke, this causes a misnomer. This means that it's slow in the water. And this is not really what I mean, so I'm gonna add an extra word to it. It is the slow stroke rate fast boat drill. So we're just looking for a slow stroke rate. So this means that when I take a stroke in the water, I'm trying to get as much out of it as I can, but I'm also trying to be explosive. If I go through this motion slowly through the water, I don't get that power transfer that I'm looking for. So the time that I spend in the water is very explosive, right? I'm trying to move fast throughout this long length in the water. What regulates the stroke rate to be slow is the air time increases tremendously. So explosive in the water, slow and controlled in the air. The reason I like taking time in the air is it gives me plenty of time to set up my body exactly how I want to for the next stroke, to be very explosive and take all the time to set everything up. Just like with the exercises, people get into a rhythm that matches. If I go explosive in the water, I'm explosive on my recovery, and all of a sudden you're sprinting. And when you're explosive in the air, there may be a positional change in your motion that is not optimal. If you take the time to recover slowly and meticulously, you will set up your body exactly how you want to set up that next explosive motion. And the reason I love this is because if you are using a GPS, if you are in controlled flat water, when you do this drill and you do it properly, if you go fast, you are explosive. If you go slow, there is some technical issue that you have the opportunity to identify, address, and to fix. If your motion is not fluid, if you are not explosive enough, if the leverages that you set up and the pathing of your body is not adequate, none of these ideas will lead to a high performance output. So it's a very honest drill. If you limit yourself in the canoe to 30 or 40 strokes per minute and you are not able to eclipse 6 miles an hour as a general metric, it means that there are a lot of ideas that you can start to incorporate in that would fix these ideas. This is the exact same within the surf ski kayak stroke. When we set up, we want about 40 to 50 strokes a minute. We take the stroke, hang out in the air, set everything up, make sure you got all these good leverages, then take the next stroke and going back and forth. If you're using a Garmin device, it will cut those metrics in half, so you're looking for 20 to 25 strokes per minute and looking for higher end speeds. If you can eclipse 7 miles an hour, paddling under 60 strokes a minute, it means that you are getting a lot out of your motion. And every time that you take a stroke, you learn to be very explosive with that stroke. If you take that component away, your speed will always diminish. Now, when you want to paddle and go even faster at 40 to 50 strokes a minute, 50 to 60 strokes a minute, this stroke in the water stays the same, but now the recovery itself is the thing that begins to speed up. If you do this drill and your blade is too big and you can't find the explosiveness through the water, your speed will suffer. Or if you're doing this drill and you're really good for a minute or two, but the next 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to an hour plummets in efficiency, it means the paddle blade is eating up your performance. So this is a great way to indicate how long can I be explosive with the tool that is in my hand. The larger the blade, the shorter the timeline that you may be on. And if you're only explosive for 2 minutes and then everything else is now not explosive in nature, your performance has an immediate ceiling on it. Going to a smaller blade, being more consistent with your explosiveness stroke to stroke, this is a pathway to getting better, and this is an excellent drill to make you better at this motion. Excellent, thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Hopefully that terminology of explosiveness kind of opens up and it gives a little bit more detail to what speed really is. I want to give a big shout out to all of our YouTube members, and their names are are right over here. If you want to become part of the YouTube membership, it's $2.99 a month. Feel free to sign up right here on YouTube. You get to see this video an entire month early. If you need more in-depth detail, we have it very concisely constructed on the K2NOnlinePaddleSchool.com. The videos are numerically ordered. You progress through them one by one and learn all these different details as you go through the curriculum. The videos here on YouTube, admittedly, a little random based on what's going on in my coaching that week, and it's just kind of a stream of consciousness for you all. The online school is a lot more rubric based. So that's the kind of learning that you need. Check out the online school today. If you would like me to come to your area and host clinics, if you can organize the group, I will get on the airplane and I will meet you in your state or other country. If you'd like more information on that, my email is in the description of this video. Feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you all so much for the ongoing support, and we'll see you all next week for the next paddle tip video.